What's up, guys? It's Everest, finally back again with another video. I know it's been a while. I have been a little bit sick the past couple days, so sorry about the voice if it isn't absolutely ideal today. But I have been really thinking about this idea of the best movies of the decade so far. What are the best films of the 2020s? Everyone loves to go through and do their best of the 2010s, best of the 90s, these past decade rankings. And so what I thought would be really fun today was to go through and figure out what would the Mount Rushmore be of 2020s movies. What are the 4 films that I not only think are great myself and have loved watching them and rewatching them, but what also has been significant to the overall landscape of cinema this decade, as we've gone through quite a bit with COVID, with theaters trying to recover and bounce back. So I've picked out 4 movies. It was really difficult that I think stand atop as not only some of my absolute personal favorites, but as really meaningful to just movie going and movies this decade. We're going to dive into it, but first I've got some honorable mentions. So what are some movies that just barely missed the cut here? Because let's face it, there's been a lot of great movies and a Mount Rushmore only has space for 4 of them. So for me, maybe the hardest cut from this list was Jordan Peele's Nope from 2021. I think that movie is incredible, maybe the best horror movie of the decade so far. Jordan Peele is one of our seminal filmmakers of this generation, and I think Nope is arguably his best movie. Special theatrical experience, special movie, holds up great on rewatch, super hard cut. Nomadland, Best Picture winner from 2020. Just a really unique, down-to-earth and grounded drama with an all-star performance from Frances McDormand. It almost made this list. Avatar: The Way of Water, I thought was incredible. Animation as a whole just couldn't find its spot on this list for me, but that doesn't mean there haven't been great animated movies, including Soul from Pixar, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which, listen, I get if a lot of you would have on this list. That movie is incredible. The Boy and the Heron from Studio Ghibli, as well as Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, and so many more. I felt bad leaving animation off, but that's how it came out for this list. And then Dune Part 2, probably my favorite movie from this year so far. Just incredible work from Denis Villeneuve. And Greta Gerwig's Barbie, one half of maybe the biggest movie-going event that I've seen in my lifetime with Barbenheimer, and just a crazy fun movie. But all of these, unfortunately, could not make their way onto the Mount Rushmore. It's time to find out what did for me. Let's go. The first movie that I just could not even think about leaving off of Mount Rushmore for the 2020s is going to be Top Gun: Maverick. It was one of my favorite movies the year it came out. It's still one of my favorites of the decade, and I think it is maybe the best legacy sequel ever. I can't believe how good Top Gun: Maverick is. I've raved about it on this channel before. I just love it. It is perfect, adrenaline-fueled, just makes you smile. Watched it in theaters twice. Everyone watched it in theaters. It was a huge summer hit, really one that the movies needed at the time. Not many people were going to the theater, and everyone went out and saw Top Gun: Maverick. Tom Cruise, Miles Teller, Glenn Powell, the whole gang, the whole crew. I can't talk about this movie enough. It is so much fun. It has heart. The music and the score is incredible, and it lived up to the original in every way possible. Just with its box office returns, with how much love this movie got, snagging a Best Picture nomination, and just how much I enjoy it on a personal level, it has to be here as the first entry into my Mount Rushmore. The second pick on this list is going to be probably the most controversial, I would say, and also the one where my own personal bias is probably playing into this the most. But even though we're out of the 2010s now, where superhero movies ran absolutely rampant, they were by far the biggest thing in Hollywood, they're still big this decade, and I wanted to pick what I think is the best superhero movie to come out this decade and put it on here. And to me, that's Matt Reeves' The Batman. Now, I understand you could go with a Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. You could go with Across the Spider-Verse. To me, The Batman has been the peak of comic book filmmaking this decade so far. As a huge Batman fan, it was everything I wanted. It's long, it's epic, it's dark, it's layered, it makes you think, and it also just has some of the most fun superhero detective storytelling and action that we've seen this decade. I love this movie. I love Robert Pattinson as the Batman, and it was my favorite movie of the year in 2022. It's going to be on this list. You can sue me. Just the cinematography and the editing and the filmmaking in general, Michael Giacchino's score, it's so well put together, and it is a triumph for the superhero genre that hasn't had as many in this decade. So the Batman snagged that second spot for me. As I was coming up with this, I did realize that this list is pretty 2022 heavy. I think 2022 was the best year for movies so far this decade. It had the most, I think, pivotal films come out in it, and Everything Everywhere All at Once is another one of those movies. When I went through the decade so far and thought about what did I love, what did people love, and what were people talking about, Everything Everywhere All at Once has to be here. It won Best Picture as a crazy science fiction, every genre blended into one, just masterpiece. And I've rewatched it since seeing it in theaters. It still holds up. It's a remarkable movie. It is the multiverse movie in, again, a decade that's tried to do tons of multiverse stuff. It's the best of that sort of area, and I absolutely love this movie. It made A24 a ton of money, which they don't usually see big returns. People were talking about it. And I'm here to say it's not overrated, and it belongs on the Mount Rushmore for the 2020s. Just for a movie like that to be loved by both critics and audiences, myself included, and go on and win Best Picture at the Oscars is incredible, and it deserves its spot here. And with the last spot up for grabs on the Mount Rushmore, a lot of you probably already know what it's going to be. Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer has to be here. What can I say about it that hasn't already been said? Christopher Nolan and his 3-hour-long R-rated World War II biopic makes almost $1 billion, is one half of the huge Barbenheimer event that was just so crucial and critical for movie going and for movie fans. What an experience. And Nolan delivers. Although I love Barbie, this is the movie that's going to stand the test of time. It is epic. It is so thoughtful. It is existential. Great performances from Cillian Murphy, from Robert Downey Jr., from Emily Blunt. This entire stacked supporting cast just kills it. And I think this is one we're going to be talking about for a long, long time. The score from Ludwig Göransson, incredible. Cinematography, incredible. This movie won 7 Oscars, including Best Picture, and I can't think of a more deserving film to be on the Mount Rushmore of 2020 movies so far. That's my list. Top Gun: Maverick, The Batman, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Oppenheimer. What would you guys have on here? What would you change from my list? I want to know down in the comments below. What movies are you looking forward to throughout the rest of the decade? Because, hey, we've still got 6 more years. This was a fun list to come up with. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.